So this is Baruch Fleischman here at the Tikkun Elevator Kollel, and welcome to this afternoon shiur on Shar Tanta, and we are in the Otzrot Chaim. This is the end of Perek Beis, and we've been talking about the lights that come out of the ears, the lights that come out of the nose, and the lights. Now we're going to come to the concept of the mouth. So let's read across the top here. These are the words of the Uri HaKodesh himself. It says, V'da, ki eser sephiros elul shel oros ha'aznaim, these 10 spheros of the lights of the ears, kol zaman shehem nimshachin ad gevul ha'chaitim, as long as they're in between the nose and the ear, oz ku yechide bifnei atzma. So this light, which we said really appears as the letter Hey, it's actually a Hey, you could divide it into a dalet and a vav, which makes 10. So this is by itself. It's just a light, that light. But as it moves downwards, or moves into the boundary of the nose, and then it goes down to lamata ad shevolas hazakan. That's where the normal light of the ear goes, from the ear downwards to the chin. So then you see that there's a clothing of the light of the ear inside of the light of the nose. There's light, the nose that comes out and it goes down to the chest of Ak. And this then becomes the concept of an interior neshama, that is a light within inside of a light. So the same thing is true of the light of the mouth. Light of the nose. As it goes down into the mouth and goes further down, then it clothes itself in the light of the mouth. And it becomes the concept of an interior neshama. Always the concept of neshama is an inside light, just like we're going to see here as we read the Tiv HaChaim. Thank you, Tiv HaChaim. Now we read just a light print, and it says, Hine oras ha'ozen yordan imispashtim ad shevolas hazakan da'ak. He says the lights of the ear, they go down, they spread, until they reach the chin of Ak. V'oras ha'chotem mispashtim ad ha'chaz shelo, and the lights of the nose, they go all the way down to the Ak's chest. V'oras ha'peh yordim ad tibur shelo, then they go down to another lower level, which is called his belly button. V'nimsa the fizeh, so it comes out like this. The way you could understand is the light that is coming from the ears until it reaches the nose. Meir rak or ha'ozen bilvad, then it's only that light shining by itself. It's up there by itself. But as that light streams downwards towards the chin, it starts mixing in, it reaches the nose. Meirim sham shnei oros. Now you see that there are 2 lights at the level of the nose. That these 2 lights of ear and nose are shining together. But since the fact is that the lights of the nose are coming from a higher, more pure place, they're much more refined, they're practically invisible. They're more refined than the lights of the nose. The fichach oros ha'ozim is lav shebesoch oros ha'chotim. Now here you have the concept of a vessel holding a light, or a light going into a vessel, depending on how you want to look at it. It's just like a neshama, which is clothed inside of the body. So therefore, in this way, oros ha'chotim na'asek neshama penimis, they become like a neshama on the inside, besoch oros ha'peh, inside of the lights of the mouth. So the lights of the ears that are clothed inside of the neshama, that is beside, as like a neshama besoch ha'chotim, inside of the nose. Now they come into the lights, they come out of the mouth. Now understand that Ak is like a veil over the Ein Sof, but he has these openings. Now we have to understand how it is that there are changes in the light, and we're going to see that. Neshama and neshama, so then it becomes like the ear light is a neshama inside of the nose light, and the nose light is a neshama inside of the mouth light. So we see there's 3 different levels, one inside of the next. Ba'ofen she'or ha'ozen, in a way like this, that the light of the nose, let me see if it's a light of ozen, who hamadrega penimis beyoser, it's the most inside light. Now in this model of that the Rav is telling us, it's all the light of the Ein Sof inside all the Ani Hashem b'kerev haaretz, right? So it's all that light that is inside of everything. So this is the concept of insideness. V'hi maslaveshes toch or ha'chotim, so the light of the nose is inside of the light of the chotim, and mislavesh betoch or ha'peh, and the 2 of them together, one inside the next, inside of the mouth, shuhu madrega chitzonis beyoser, which is the most outside part. So now he's saying that you have an inside of the light of the ear, the middle level, which is the light of the nose, interesting, and a lower level, which is the light of the mouth. Now, actually, these are fundamental principles in Kabbalah, but over here, it's not so easy to see. So we see we could probably make a lot of extraction from this. Now, let's go over here on Kaf Daled, and we'll move along and try to get as much done today as possible. He said, Gam Da, you have to know this. Ki Oz, when you have these lights, one inside the next, Ha'or ha'yotze betoch Adam kadman lezeh, and let's talk about these openings that we're talking about, and light is coming out of these openings. Hine kulu or echad. It's really only one light. It's not 3 different sets of lights. Rak, but so then how is it that you have these madregas and these different qualities of the light? Rak ki al yedei his rachakusa v'yidasa lamata, because it distances itself from its source as it goes downwards. As it's moving downwards, it goes down, it becomes thicker, ivui ach acher ivui, one thickening process after another one. So I guess he's saying that the top of the head of Ak is the place of the most powerful light. But as the light moves downwards into the level, you're talking about the river inside of Ak, not the lights outside, because the river inside of Ak, he wants to say it's all the same. The only difference is that as it goes down further and goes out, it becomes thickened. Kate said, so how does this work? Maybe I didn't explain it so good. Let's see what the Rav says. Kate said, the or hayotze mina ozen hu zak ma'od. So as we said before, the light that comes from the ears is practically non-existent. Now, as it's flowing in the stream inside of Adam Kadmon, until it reaches the place where there's an opening here. Oh, it's an opening of the nose. And then there's the kitzeh, that is the tip end of the, I guess it would be, you would say, I've seen this in the Sharsha Yam. He says that if you took the light inside of the Ein Sof, you see the gradations there too. So he says the tip means the outside most part of this light will be exposed to the opening. So even though we say, hey, this is only one light, the light is all the same. We just said that. But the point is that from the origin of the light, of the line of this light, as it moves away from the origin of the light as it coming into Ak, it comes thicker, Yosef B'Tzeso Misham, as it comes out. Now, I'm not sure exactly what that meant, but we'll see. As it comes out, you perceive it because the position in Ak is lower, so you perceive it as more thick, or it is more thick. So the same thing as it spreads, Yosa the Mata going down further at the Peh, Yosa Katsasa Derek Sham, and then as the end of it, Hakam comes out over there too. Now, once again, I imagine this in my mind, and I think this is really that Rabbi Yaakov Hillel brought to this attention. What did he mean by the end of the light? That here he means looking at it like a river, which is a cylinder. And the cylinder actually has it's always more panimi, or more hitzoni, because that's the nature of this light. The Ein Sof itself is panimi of everything, and so everything else will be covering it one way or another. So as it goes downwards, as it comes out of Ak, it becomes thicker. Ki kulo shava kenitzkar, because the truth is that the light is always the same, but the position of relationship to Ak changes. Ak hamaskil yavin ki or shalamochin nikra av. Now, he says I want to throw this in at the end. A person should know, a person really has a mind, he should understand that the light that comes from the mochin, I guess he means the most high places, is called av. So that means the area of the brain. He said, or hazeh, but this light, and this is going to be important as we get longer, is not that same light anymore. Or hazeh nikra sag, b'dai b'zeh. Remember, originally said way back when that the light of Av is from the top of the head to the ears, and the light of Sag is from the ears going downwards. So we're going to be dealing with the light of Sag, but exactly what that means, not so easy to just listen and hear it. Now let's see if we can learn a little bit of this if I don't make any too many mistakes, and let's check and see what I'm saying. He says, we've already said that the top of the skull of Adam Kadmon, hu shem av de klalos. Well, I guess I just said this. And then from the mos and the mata, for the ears going downward, maskil shem sag de klalos, then you start to see the beginning of the name Sag. Now this is the general name Sag, that means it goes from the top to the bottom. It's outside of Av. So now we said like this, that the tamim elyonim come out of the ears. So these musical concepts, I had no idea what tamim really means over here, but it means the highest level of connection to the light. He says, it's the middle tamim. And this is a review of things that we learned previously. From the mouth comes the lower tamim. So then they go along, and more things are revealed about them. And we're going to talk about that now. Says Amnam the Chayra, the Fizel Hoyim Makon the Toes Velomer. So I guess the Tiv is saying like this, let me just say to you this idea, that you can make mistakes over here. Ki ha'or ha'nimshak min ha'ein sof v'yotzech min ha'ak. So the light that's coming is the light of the Ein Sof, like the old-time thermometer with that line in the very inside. That's the Ein Sof inside of it. Yotze min ha'ak. Hu kama mini oros av sag mahu ben. Well, it turns out that's not just a simple light, that it's a light of what we pronounce this as asmab, of different letter combinations of the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei. It's also called Tanta. There are different levels over there too, which is Tamim, Nekudas, Tagim, and Osios. Some other quality of this light. The Zos Mevarach Rav, so on this, the Rav has explained, Ki ma'atzel himshik la'ak rak or echad pasha. So this is what he just said, and if I led the conversation a little bit the wrong way, what he says is that we just got done learning that the nature of this light is in the form of Tanta, or it's in the form of Asmab. We just got done learning that. But nonetheless, the Rav says here that it's really not a whole bunch of gradations in light. It's really only one light. V'kol hashinoi v'his chalful shalom bedregos v'ha'ora. So what's the difference between these different levels, the different kinds of lights you're talking about? Taloi b'midas arichu v'chakirav shalom makablim. It really depends on the distance between those elements, which are the openings of Ak, and how far or how close they are to where the light started, which we're saying over here is in the top of the head of Ak. So he says, let me read it again. He says, "B'midas arichu v'chakirav shalom makablim al hamakor shuhu chut or Ein Sof." So where the Ein Sof begins, apparently, is in the very top of the skull. And as you get away from that, the light becomes more perceptible. The Hainish Karkafta Da'ak, Shuhu Karav L'Rosh Chut Ein Sof, which is very close to the string of the Ein Sof. Oro Godel, it has a great light. V'hu Nikra Av, and it's called Av by that name. That's spelled, which we saw previously, Yud Vav Daled Ke Yud Vav Ke Yud. V'kevin shebechidas achaznaim da'ak, but since the concept of the ears of Ak, Rochoku Yosim Erosh Chut Ein Sof, that they're distant in some way between the thread of the line of the Ein Sof. V'chein ein oro kol kach gadol, so therefore its light is not that great. V'hu rak b'chinas sag, so therefore it's going to be diminished. It's going to be the light of sag. Ki kol sheha'or yored lemata, because the more that the light goes down further, came poches oro, that makes the light less. Aku or echad belvad below Yosef. But just understand this. This is the light of the Ein Sof. It's only one light, not many lights. Raksha nishtana machmas makablim, but it changes because of the makablim that are going to see it, so going to receive it. So I'm just thinking this. You have this Ein Sof, which is nothing. That's the best we could say about it inside of all of these things. But all of these openings, and the openings of Ak himself in general, are a creation. So it's hard to put it together in my mind exactly how they work, but it's what to think about. So therefore the names change. As we're going to explain as we go further. And I think I should stop right here because it's a good shir. And this will be the 13th shir in the Otzrot Chaim. With God's help, the next shir will be Zeicha to finish this first shar. That's actually the second shar after Shar Agulim and Shar Tanta. But we'll finish Shar Tanta, and then we'll start the Shar Akudim. So anybody that knows these things and knows these names already is on the way to be a Kabbalist. This is Baruch Fleischman.